Hey guy! I need to come up with a better intro. Today I'm talking about how you're still trans even if you don't pass. This is a controversial topic and you know I love those and I know you love them, so that's why I'm doing it. Now, before we start this entire video, beautiful Chase Ross right over here, made a video called The Problematic Concept of Passing, where I touch upon this a teensy bit, but I feel like I need to expand it. My friend Aaron and I were talking and we came up with this topic together. I mean, like, he mostly came up with it and then we like talked about my old video, so that's why I'm talking about it today. But again, if you want to check out the problematic concept of passing, please press on the face. So what do I mean when I say you're still trans if you don't pass? So like, one, it's completely normal, okay, for you to feel maybe like you're not trans or you're not trans enough if you don't pass, okay? It's normal to feel that. Your feelings are valid. I'm not invalidating your feelings at all. I have felt like this like 4 or 5 years before I could ever even touch hormones or start testosterone or like have the idea that I will look male one day. I waited a long time. So it's normal, but I want to tell you that you are still trans, okay? And this is not like a PSA to make you feel better or anything like that. I'm just saying, it's a fact. You are still trans even if you don't pass. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I have friends who, for example, like, they can't wear binders all the time. One, they have chest pains, they have medical conditions, they run, so they have to wear like sports bras or different types of binders so they don't bind all the time. This can make people feel very invalidated in their trans identity. I can understand this completely. Before I had top surgery, in the binder realm of experiences, I had to wear binders, and I remember being in high school before I started, I had binders, I had them at home, I would only wear them inside, but I had to wear a sports bra when I played rugby, and I just like, I hated that, but I wore the sports bra all the time anyways. And then like if you just like skip over a couple of years where I'm fully wearing the binder all the time, swimming was absolutely awful, and I remember being like, I'm never gonna swim until I have top surgery. So instead of actually doing that, I decided to wear a very loose fitting binder where it binded me a little bit, but it's still, I looked like I had a chest. And it made me feel really dysphoric, but I really like to swim and I really wanted to swim, and I only swam like at my family's house, at my cousin's house, so it was like a personal thing. There wasn't that many people and stuff like that, but I still felt very uncomfortable, and I felt like I'm not really trans because you can see a physical part of my body that makes me, in your eyes, not male. And by your eyes, I mean like society, not you. Society. You're you. You're great. You look good today. Society, ugly. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But seriously, society's personality right now, we need to talk. Seriously. I should make a video about that where I'm like talking to society and I'm like, we need to talk. No? Yeah? Okay. So anyways, I felt so invalidated in my identity because I knew that the people around me knew me before, and then they like saw a chest piece, and they like, maybe it like reminded them of me before. Like this is all internalized, right? Who knows if this is actually happening in real life? This is just what I'm thinking in my brain, that like my anxiety brain, like my non-stop thinking brain all the time, especially trans things. Anyways. Moving away from the binder thing, it's also like an issue of safety. And I have definitely talked about this in my other video, The Problematic Concept of Passing. I'm trying to say that really fast, it's not working. I'm trying not to make like a 19-year video like I usually do, which, now that I said that, it's gonna end up being like 29 years. What was I talking about? Safety, yes. Okay, so there is a safety issue, all right? So you may not be safe or feel safe. Let me just say, you may not feel safe wearing a binder if you still appear to society as feminine in the face, feminine in the quotation, because what is that? Who knows? And you have to use the women's bathroom. You might not be comfortable wearing a binder. There's other specific areas, like if you have to go to a family a family reunion, or like a dinner party or anything like that. The issue of safety is so ingrained into passing, and that's why, like, yeah, the concept itself of passing is problematic, but it's so necessary in the safety and like identity aspect, because you are definitely trans. No matter what you think, Okay, no matter what you think other people are thinking of you based on what you look like, you are trans. You are you. You identify as however you want to identify. It's you. It's valid 100%. You, when it, you. But when we think about passing as necessary, we have to think about it as it's related to your identity. So yeah, you're trans no matter what, but you will feel better inside when people finally start to call you male pronouns or like your name and stuff like that. Like as part of your identity, your inner identity, you'll feel great because it's hard to get validation from yourself sometimes when you feel like you're alone. Maybe this video is going to help where you're like, oh, I'm not actually alone to feel these things. Other people are feeling them too, and I have felt them definitely before. And the second aspect is safety. And this is usually mostly related to bathrooms. Bathrooms are scary. So like I can understand the I need to pass right now because of the safety issue and because of identity and because it's who you are 100%. But the reason why it's like problematic, the concept as well, is because people make it seem like you're only trans if you pass. And that right there is toxic. You know how there's like toxic masculinity and that's like a huge thing in society right now that everyone's talking about, like fragile masculinity. Oh, your masculinity is so fragile because you can't even handle this. And it's like all these toxic things, toxic masculinity things that like make men like act so macho and like do all these things that are very toxic. We have that in the trans community, and it's like trans passing toxic, where it's like seen as the ultimate, not the ultimatum, the ultimate. Like you are trans, you will pass. You are trans, you want to pass. You don't have to want to pass. You are trans no matter what anyone else says, and that is a very contested thing that people might get mad at me about, might not, because there's always the divide, right? There's like the people on one side who are like, I identify as this, who cares what anybody else identifies at, I will respect whatever you want, it's you. Who controls you? No one, only you. And then there's the other side, which I've talked about before, that is very like, no, this is a medical condition, you have to pass, you have to want these steps in order to be trans. And these sides, whatever side you're on, it doesn't matter. I have no opinions right now about this, I'm just saying, no matter what side you're on, we need to acknowledge that some people cannot pass. One, privilege is a huge thing in this community. I have the crazy privilege of being able to pass because I took hormones, and having access to those hormones is a privilege to me, and how I got access to them, and because I live in Canada and all these like other things that were like put in place. I don't know why I mentioned Canada, but oh yeah, Canada, yeah, it makes sense. But then there's other people who don't have access to that, so they cannot pass. So when you're saying the ultimatum is passing, the ultimatum, just the ultimate thing to be trans is to pass, you're making these people feel like garbage. And if you're one of those people right now who cannot transition right now, you can't go on hormones, you can't have top surgery, you can't do things for yourself that maybe make you appear more masculine in society, and be comfortable with your body because either family, work, partners, I don't know, pets, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of privilege, access. If you live in a small town, no one has access to it. If it's like an issue of safety, there are literally hundreds of reasons why somebody cannot start transitioning. But if you are one of these people, just know, and this video is just for you right now, like this part right now, you are trans no matter what. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. If you feel like you're trans, you're trans. If you don't pass, if you don't want to pass, if you want to pass now but later don't, who cares? It doesn't matter. It matters what you want to do, right? So if you don't pass right now and it's really getting you down, and that sucks so much, and I completely understand that. I knew I was trans 5 years before I even started hormones, and then it took me like about 9 to 10 months until people 100% saw me as male. So there's a big gap there where I understand. And it was 6 years ago, but it's trauma, man. I feel it. So all of these experiences, I've felt them. I've been there. And you are allowed to feel the way that you feel, but try not to make people in this community make you feel invalidated. Because of your lack of privilege or your lack of access to any of these things, because your family, or because you're young, if you're like 13 and your family completely hates trans people and won't put you on blockers or anything like that. Like, I just remember sitting at my chair and just feeling like I'm only gonna be trans when I start to pass. And that right there is just, it's really hard for me to get out of that because there was like no information back then, like not as much as there is now. And there was like 3 YouTubers that were doing trans topics, and they were all passing and like old and stuff like that. So me thinking that I can only say that I'm trans when I start to pass, that still carries with me now, and I hate that. So when I see friends of mine who are not on hormones and who are like doing things at their jobs, like they're telling people to say Aaron and use male pronouns, they use the men's room, whatever. They do all these policy changes within the company and their community, and they're not on hormones. They're actively wanting hormones, but they're not getting it yet. But that to me is just mind-blowing. Like, that is so brave to do. And I know that that's such a cliche, but to me that's so brave, because in my head it's like I'm only trans when I start to pass, so I don't exist until then. But some of my friends and some people out there are really making themselves known, and that's what we have to do. If you're comfortable, if it's safe, if you want to do it, that's what that's what's important. Like, we need to like be out there and show people that, look man, not all trans people look like this. Like, I don't know, like not all trans women look like Caitlyn Jenner, not all trans men look like Chaz Bono, or like even Aiden. Not everyone looks like that. You're allowed to not look like that and be trans, right? And at that, it is also okay to not fight, right? If somebody says some really transphobic things around you and it's not safe for you to say it, you don't have to say anything. You don't. Are you kidding me? I have been in situations like that where I'm like, if I say something, I'm literally fearing my life, or I'm fear that I'm gonna like either get yelled at in a very like loud way because the person's very aggressive, and that I can't handle that. I'm a sensitive soul. I can't deal with it. So it's okay. Even if it's not even a safety thing, you're just scared within yourself. It's okay to just sit back and just like, I don't know. This is so like complex to talk about, and I feel like maybe calling people out, which maybe is like later on, I've talked about it in the past, but this is kind of different. Anyways, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. Oh my god, thank god I talk fast, because I thought this was an 18-minute video, but if I move my head here and look at the time, it's only 13 minutes. Bless. If you have any questions, please let me know. Don't forget to watch my vlogs. I post them every Wednesday and throughout the week, and regular videos on Saturdays and throughout the week. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you later. Bye.